Here's your podcast segment. The headline today: Pulte trims spy agency, but spares bulk of staff for now. Bill Pulte, the new acting director of national intelligence, has made his first moves inside America's spy apparatus, and while cuts were expected, they turned out to be more modest than many had anticipated. Pulte was installed in the role just last Friday. Within days, he fired 6 intelligence officials, a mix of career officers and political appointees, and sent 45 officers who had been on loan from other spy agencies back to their home agencies. That's it, for now. Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, who chairs the Senate Intelligence Committee, confirmed those numbers in a speech Wednesday, calling it a step in the right direction while noting it amounts to less than 5% of the office's total personnel. Now, that doesn't mean bigger changes weren't on the table. Current and former officials say Pulte had considered much deeper cuts, including moving the office's counterterrorism and counterintelligence centers to other departments entirely, but decided to hold off. Whether he comes back for a second round remains an open question. The office Pulte now leads, known as the ODNI, or Office of the Director of National Intelligence, had roughly 1,300 full-time employees and 300 to 400 contractors before his arrival. That's already a significantly leaner operation than it used to be. His predecessor, Tulsi Gabbard, had already cut about 40% of the staff before stepping down last Friday. The largest concentration of people inside the office sits inside its counterterrorism center, about 400 intelligence officers who are currently monitoring threats related to the World Cup, as well as cartel activity, a top priority for the Trump administration. Pulte visited the center Tuesday and praised the team publicly on social media, calling them true professionals and American patriots. But a former official at the center told The Times that despite those warm words, nobody feels safe. Cotton has been pushing for the office to shrink further. He wants more officers sent back to their home agencies and some centers moved elsewhere in the government. He says he's spoken with Pulte, and that Pulte broadly agrees the ODNI needs to return to its, quote, original size, scope, and mission. Some members of both parties in Congress say a smaller office could be reasonable, as long as it retains enough capacity to oversee and coordinate the other 18 spy agencies in the U.S. intelligence community. Democrats, though, have been sharply critical. They've warned against deep cuts and argued that any significant restructuring should wait for a Senate-confirmed director, not an acting one. They've described Pulte as a political loyalist with no relevant national security experience, sent in by President Trump to purge veteran officials and settle scores. Pulte was installed after Trump pulled back his earlier pick for the permanent job, Jay Clayton, even though the Senate had been on the verge of confirming Clayton quickly. Beyond the personnel moves, Pulte's broader agenda at the agency remains unclear. So far, he's removed some of Gabbard's top aides and had images of Trump posted on the office's official social media accounts. Trump has suggested Pulte could be very effective in a short amount of time and might share information with the public about, in Trump's words, rigged elections, an echo of Gabbard's unfinished investigation into voting machines. Whatever comes next at the nation's top intelligence coordination office, one thing is clear: the restructuring of American spy power is far from over. That's the story. Stay informed.